Every step of the way, we have been lied to about Donald Trump's strike on Iran. We were lied to when Donald Trump said he wouldn't be getting us into any new wars. And we were lied to when Donald Trump said that his military operation was a smashing success that completely obliterated the sites that it targeted. Now, according to a leak out of the Pentagon yesterday, we know that to be completely untrue. And Donald Trump's lies have finally caught up to him, and he is losing his mind because of it, because no one has been more humiliated on the world stage than he has. And we saw that as he melted down and attacked reporters at the NATO summit today in an insane press conference that we are going to get into when he was confronted with this leak and just how devastating it is to the lies that he was telling. But before we get into his screaming attack on reporters, I want to start with the first time he was asked about this intelligence leak.
Reaction to the intelligence reports saying that the Iranian nuclear sites were only partially devastated, not entirely.
Yeah, well, they said it was actually, the report said it could have been they don't know. I mean, they did a report. I could have Pete talk to it because his department did the report. They really don't know. I think Israel's going to be telling us very soon because Bibi is going to have people involved in that whole situation. We hear it was obliteration. It was a virtual obliteration. When you take a look at the ground above, don't forget, the flame is all underground. But everything above, if you look at the before and the after picture, everything above is burned black. The trees, everything. There's one building, but that's a building that sunk substantially into the granite, so that, you know, the fire goes right over it. I believe it was total obliteration. I believe they didn't have a chance to get anything out because we acted fast. If it would have taken 2 weeks maybe, but it's very hard to remove that kind of material. Very hard and very dangerous for them to remove it. Plus, they knew we were coming, and if they know we're coming, they're not going to be down there. There aren't too many people that are going to be down there. Pete,
it is interesting to be asking Donald Trump about intelligence, considering, you know, how little he has, but clearly MAGA and Trump at least haven't come up with their narrative that they want to respond to this leak with. Of course, Carolyn Levitt was first to hop in saying that the leaker was a loser. What? Why are you attacking the person sharing truthful information out of the Pentagon and not the failure by the president to carry out his military operation? It doesn't make sense, but clearly they aren't in line on what they want to say. They are just scrambling. They are just panicking. And it was made more evident as Donald Trump continued to ramble nonsensically here.
On Iran, both you and Secretary Rubio and Hexet mentioned the leak, but can you clarify, is the intelligence correct or is the intelligence wrong?
well, the intelligence was very inconclusive. The intelligence says we don't know. It could have been very severe. That's what the intelligence says. So I guess that's correct. But I think we can take the we don't know. It was very severe. It was obliteration. And you'd think that a media outlet would say, isn't that a great thing? I mean, more importantly for the pilots, for the military, you take their guts out. You take their absolute guts out. They had a tremendous attack. It was a complete obliteration. The other team, the other group, Iran, said, let's stop this. And you know what? Israel said it too. Very smart. They fought like hell, and then they said, let's stop. And they're going to build themselves. And I really see it as sticking. I mean, we may do papers on it, Marco. Maybe we're going to do papers. I don't even know if you need them. They're not going to be fighting each other. They've had it. They've had a big fight, like two kids in a schoolyard. You know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easy to stop them.
And then Daddy has to sometimes use strong language to
You have
get
to use
stuff.
strong language. Every once in a while, you have to use a certain word.
I think we have to join the others.
Yes, we're going to join some other group. Yes, thank you. Katie, one
Can anyone even remotely begin to understand what this rambling nonsense is all about? The intelligence isn't true, but it did or didn't come out of the Pentagon, but they did completely destroy it. But there will be new intelligence soon from Israel because their intelligence is better than ours? Are you saying their intelligence is better than ours? It doesn't make any sense from Donald Trump. All that he can focus on is how upset he is that the media, which had been correct in their claim that Donald Trump's military operation was not a success, got it right from the beginning. And he was screaming at him right here.
Mr. President,
Yeah,
If the Iranians do rebuild, would the United States?
if they rebuild,
Would the United States strike again? And I have also a
sure.
question about
But
Russia.
I'm not gonna have to worry about that. It's gone for years, years. Very tough to rebuild because the whole thing has collapsed. In other words, inside, it's all collapsed. Nobody can get in to see it because it's collapsed. You can't go in to see a room that has, 10 million tons of rock in it. And the tunnels are totally collapsed.
But if they rebuild?
Well, they've already looked at the tunnels. This was an unbelievable hit by genius pilots and genius people in the military, and they're not being given credit for it because we have scum that's in this group, and not all of you are. You had some great reporters, but you have scum. CNN is scum. MSDNC is scum. The New York Times is scum. They're bad people. They're sick. And what they've done is they're trying to make this unbelievable victory into something less. Now, even they admit that it was hit very hard, okay? But it wasn't hit hard. It was hit brutally, and it knocked it out. The original word that I use, I guess it got us in trouble because it's a strong word. It was obliteration. And you'll see that. And it's going to come out. Israel is doing a report on it now, I understand. And I was told that they said it was total obliteration. They have guys that go in there after the hit, and they say it was total obliteration. And I don't want it for me. I want it for the pilots. I want it for the military. They did such a good job. If you were in the Situation Room with me, with the generals and all of the people that did such a good job, and then they get demeaned by these idiots at CNN who can't get ratings. The place is dying. Nobody wants to even waste their time going on their shows. So they form with the New York Times, who's dying also. Without Trump, you wouldn't have a New York Times.
What's so funny about Donald Trump saying that it's MSDNC and CNN that are scum, to use his language, is that this had nothing to do with CNN. Sure, CNN obtained the leak and CNN shared that information, but it was someone inside your Pentagon that allowed it to get out purposefully. Under Pete Hegseth, the leaks continue. So maybe you need to be looking inward, Donald, because that seems to be the problem. The chaos all throughout your administration is what's causing you problems. This has nothing to do with the press doing their job and doing a job that actually keeps us safe, because Donald Trump yesterday also canceled the intelligence briefing for members of Congress on his strike on Iran. So the public would know nothing. Members of Congress would know nothing if it wasn't for this leak. And again, these Republicans, they don't even know what their narrative is yet. Just listen to Marco Rubio try to cover for Trump right here.
No, first of all this stuff about the intelligence, this is what a leaker is telling you the intelligence says. That's the game these people play. They read it, and then they go out and characterize it the way they want it characterized, and they're leakers. This is the game they play. So that's number one. Number two, here's a fact. The conversion facility, which you can't do a nuclear weapon without a conversion facility. We can't even find where it is, where it used to be on the map. You can't even find where it used to be because the whole thing is just blackened out. It's
Right.
gone.
It's wiped out.
It's wiped out. Then we dropped 12 of the strongest bombs on the planet right down the hole in 2 places. Everything underneath that mountain is in bad shape. And I refer you to the statement of the IAEA, Mr. Grossi. You know what he said? He said there was Iran, the way it looked the day before the attack, and what their nuclear program looks like now. 2 very different things. They are way behind where they were just 7 days ago. Now, anything in the world can be rebuilt. But now we know where it is, and if they try to rebuild it, we'll have options there as well. But all this leaker stuff, these leakers are professional stabbers. That's what they are. They go out and they read this stuff, and then they tell you what it says against the law, but they characterize it for you in a way that's absolutely false. There's no way Iran comes to the table if somehow nothing had happened. This was complete and total obliteration. They're in bad shape. They are way behind today compared to where they were just 7 days ago because of what the president did.
Marco, can I just...
Anything in the world can be rebuilt. Just yesterday, Trump said it was done forever, that it was never coming back, that he had destroyed it so completely and so thoroughly that no one could even imagine rebuilding it. Now, anything can be rebuilt? Surely not anything, Marco. These people are a joke. They can't even keep track of their own lies at this point. It's been flip-flop after flip-flop, but most importantly, it's been lie after lie. Donald Trump has tried to deceive us, and he has failed miserably in an attempt to do nothing more than boost his approval rating with an unnecessary, unjustifiable, and unconstitutional strike on Iran. and it has completely backfired. But it has been lie after lie after lie. And Jen Psaki continued to call that out in a clip I want to take a look at right here.
But for Trump, it's always about the one day of headlines, the one-word slogan, claiming victory right off the bat, about obfuscation and defiance being prioritized over facts. And that will continue, I expect, even in the face of these new facts. Takes, for example, the statement released today by White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. Here's what she had to say. This alleged assessment is flat out wrong and was classified as top secret, but was still leaked by an anonymous low-level loser in the intelligence community. Whew, there's a lot to unpack there. Couple questions here. If the assessment is flat out wrong, why was it classified as top secret, as she also characterized it? I mean, for days now, Trump has been contradicting his own intelligence chief, saying that Iran was suddenly closer than ever to obtaining a nuclear weapon. That's what he said. That's what he said started this war in the first place. But as the Washington Post reveals, Netanyahu's decision to strike Iran had been in the works for months, even before Trump was elected, and was more kind of a strike of opportunity than a strike of necessity. I mean, the Post reports that when Netanyahu finally launched a surprise attack on Iran, the decision was not so much driven by new intelligence indicating an Iranian sprint for a nuclear weapon or any imminent threat to Israel. Rather, Israel seized on what it saw as a unique opportunity to execute plans, carefully laid months and even years in advance. In other words, the urgency of the attack had nothing to do with brand new intelligence about Iran's nuclear program. Israel just needed a pretext to carry out the attack they had already planned, that Netanyahu had been having dreams about for years, and a potentially willing partner in the White House to help them do it. See, Trump wants people to believe that Iran was on the brink of obtaining a nuclear weapon, of having one to use, and that he stopped them just in time by obliterating Iran's nuclear program. He thinks he can tell the American people whatever story he wants, that we're all just going to follow him like the MAGA lemmings do, not going to read the fine print, not going to learn anymore. The American people can see what is going on. They don't like it. Of course they don't. I mean, a new CNN poll out today finds that a majority of Americans disapprove of Trump's decision to strike Iran by a 12-point margin. People are not buying what Trump is selling.
This is what we can expect out of the Trump administration. Dangerous lies that impose chaos on your life for the benefit of a very select few, and always in that very select few is Donald Trump. He is always looking out for himself above all else. We're going to be calling that out on the show, and if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. You can also click the top comment and read my latest on Substack, and until next time, I'll see you soon.